Welcome everyone to Autogefühl, your number one resource for in-depth car reviews and your number one community to discuss cars. With Thomas today and a new comparison test best of video, because you've asked me which one would you go for, the new Audi R8 or the Porsche 911 Turbo S? And that's also a tricky question because these two cars were definitely, I think, the top two cars as for the sporty top performance. I think just on the technological side, there are also cars which are maybe more fun, more dramatic, because they tend to drift away a little bit more. But just if you pick a technology perfectly car and put it on the racetrack, I think these two really have the best shots at that one. So we're going to take a look at the best of from these two cars then, and later on we'll discuss which one you would actually go for, and which one I will go for. Welcome here to the Wilsterberg in the Porsche 911 Turbo S. Some might say it's the best sports car in the world. It costs 190,000 euros and has 560 horsepower, and we are feeling that right now. If you ever want to feel like driving Formula 1 without being in the Formula 1 car, this may be the right thing to do here. Whoa. You can feel the 911 is working so much, and it's gluing to the road. So how does this special back steering work? At a low speed, it steers you from the back wheels. It steers in the opposite direction than the front wheels. So you get a more agile car. You can turn around slow corners very fast, and as soon as if you go fast, like when you're running 100 or faster or something, it steers in the same direction. So it delivers more stability on fast corners. Starting here with the exterior design, the basic proportions have remained the same. If you look at the first generation, it has been sold, by the way, 27,000 times, the whole generation, so actually a quite good selling super sports car. Now we got this hexagonal front grille. You make the grille a little bit bigger, more prominent. This here, as I said, the V10 Plus version here with some nice design details, even in comparison to the other version. And then you got these totally new headlights. And what do you do nowadays to freshen up a design? Yes, you draw the headlights even sharper. In this case, we also got the daytime running light as a claw coming from above. And get the monster running. First of all, the normal mode. Now I'm switching to the racing mode, performance racing mode, and that also changes the exhaust. Wow, that's something of a sound. And why is that? It is still a naturally aspirated engine, 5.2 liters of displacement. In this case here, V10 Plus with 610 horsepower, 610. And the other version, the basic version, is only 540 horsepower, but still, you know, the difference is not so great. Actually, you got 0 to 100 kilometers an hour or 0 to 60 miles an hour figures from 3.2 and 3.5 seconds. And this very one here with the 3.2 seconds to 200 kilometers an hour or 125 miles an hour is below 10 seconds. That's really insane. So my favorite part of the whole car actually is this one here, how they created the vent section. Carbon fiber here to cover the vent, to frame them in. And then the lower part here, we already know that from the new Audi TT. And this is just amazing how you can control the vents. Very beautiful solution and a very clean solution. And if you just feel all of the surfaces, how everything is processed, this is really pure perfection in this case. And also visually, it just looks great. And then the automatic shifting lever here. This form rather reminds me of a Lamborghini already, but you know, there is definitely some resemblance, same corporation then. It's really incredible. I'm sticking to the asphalt. There is no limit to the grip, it seems. That's really incredible. The steering wheel, incredibly direct. Hardly have experienced such a car yet. Maybe the Porsche 911 Turbo S. Here we also got the all-wheel drive. All the power can be direct to the front or the rear wheels, and almost to 100%. That's also very special for a car, but usually more the rear wheels get the torque, because you know, when the car is starting to drive and all the weight is pulled towards the back, therefore you more need the power at the back wheels, and of course that's also sportier then. Then, as I said, the suspension is really gentle, so you can actually drive this car in everyday driving from suspension. And then about the driving modes, set no was on the comfort mode. And I have different choices here at the steering wheel. I could drive select, for example, to dynamic. That would be the step further. You already hear it. Shifting down, and the gears are executed longer in the RPMs. Wow, it's totally crazy really. And even to give it a step further, I can activate the race button here and then put it to the race mode. Then I have also less stability control. I could drift around the car if I'm a really experienced driver, and I get even more sound from the exhaust. See how immediately the power sets in. Even if I'm at the steering wheel, sticking tight, I'm getting pulled backwards. I can't do anything about it actually. And now something very special. If I'm here in that race mode, really in this S performance mode, then the stability control is turned off, and then I can also use the launch control. Now I go with the left foot on the brake, and with the right foot I press down the throttle. Then the launch control is activated, and we get a boost toward the front and have this acceleration of 3.2 seconds from 0 to 100 kilometers or 0 to 60 miles an hour. And I can tell it's really totally crazy. Just enjoy this here, maybe 2 or 3 times. Just watch it all over again. Let's do it. So which one will it be, Audi R8 or Porsche 911 Turbo S? A very tricky question. Just from the sporty performance on the racetrack, I even had the impression that the R8 was even a little bit better. It is actually the more recent car, yes, and I felt that all the commands through the steering wheel were maybe a little bit better even. And the 911, you know, there's this problem if you have a lot of weight in the rear due to the engine and then turn in the steering wheel and then push the throttle wheel, sometimes push a little bit over the front wheels then. But in general, I mean, that's really on a very high level. In general, both cars, they're so perfect machines, and especially with the all-wheel drive, there's hardly any boundary to your racing performance. Even if you're not a professional race driver, you can really have some very good lap times with these cars. And if they're getting actually to the borderline of what is actually possible, to the laws of physics, then you're getting pushed outside with some kind of four-wheel drift. That's also quite a scary moment I had once on the racetrack and with the Porsche. Well, but which one would I actually go for? Just from the styling, I think I definitely prefer the 911. It just has more iconic classic styling, definitely. I'm not so keen on the super sports car look of the Audi R8. I think it's a little bit too exaggerated there. I think the 911 has more class, definitely. Just from the driving, you would go on the racetrack, I would maybe go for the Audi. But overall, I think it's still the Porsche for me. But just a very, very slight win. But what about you? What's your opinion?